Hello, everyone. Welcome to Chapter 3, Victims and Victimization. By the end of this chapter, you should be able to discuss the greatest problems faced by crime victims, know what is meant by the term victim blaming, discuss the trends and patterns in victimization, categorize the most dominant victim characteristics, be familiar with the factors that cause repeat victimization, and compare and contrast the most important theories of victimization. Victimology is the study of victims and their role in criminal events, not to assign blame, but to understand why and how victimization happens. And the people who specialize in this work are called victimologists. They're criminologists who focus specifically on victims, their experiences, needs, and interactions with the criminal justice system. Crime has major economic costs because each incident creates multiple expenses. Some of these are direct and easy to measure, like medical bills, property loss, or court costs. Others are indirect and harder to quantify, such as emotional suffering, lost productivity, or reduced quality of life. Together, these costs make victimization financially and socially burdensome. There are several ways researchers measure the cost of victimization. One well-known study by Catherine McAllister and her team used detailed statistical analysis to estimate the financial impact of different crimes. Their findings show that a single murder costs society nearly $9 million. And when you multiply that by roughly 16,000 murders per year, the total national cost is about 144 billion annually, and that's just for this one crime category. Personal costs of victimization go far beyond money. Many victims experience serious socio-emotional effects like intense distress, relationship difficulties, problems at school or work, anxiety, depression, and even PTSD. Victimization can also lead to ongoing fear and, unfortunately, situations where victims are unfairly blamed for what happened. Altogether, these personal impacts can be long-lasting and deeply disruptive. Legal costs also come into play because victims of crime are statistically more likely to engage in criminal behavior later on. This creates what we call the cycle of violence, where victimization increases the risk of future offending, continuing the pattern across individuals and communities. When we talk about the social ecology of victimization, we're looking at how environment and context shape when and where crime happens. Violent crimes are more common in open public spaces, commercial areas, and during the daytime or early evening. Crime also varies by season, differs across neighborhoods depending on conditions like poverty or disorder, and is significant within schools. All of these social and environmental factors influence a person's risk of victimization. Household characteristics also influence victimization risk. Urban areas in the South and West tend to experience higher rates, and some communities face greater vulnerability due to long-standing social and economic factors. Homeowners are generally less likely to be victimized than renters, and some of the overall decline in crime may be linked to population shifts out of high-risk urban areas. A variety of personal characteristics influence someone's risk of victimization. Factors like marital status, gender, age, sexual orientation, income level, and physical or mental health can all play a role. Race and ethnicity can also shape risk through broader social and environmental conditions. And importantly, people who have been victimized once are at higher risk of being victimized again. Older adults are at risk for several forms of victimization, including financial, physical, and psychological abuse. Most of these incidents go unreported, only about a third ever come to light, and family members are most common perpetrators. As the older population grows rapidly, the potential for more frequent abuse cases also increases, making this a major policy concern in criminology. When we look at victims and offenders, there are clear patterns. Men are more likely to be victimized by strangers, while women are more often harmed by someone they know, like a friend, acquaintance, or intimate partner. Most crimes involve a single offender over age 20, and victimization tends to occur within the same racial or ethnic group. Interestingly, a large share of violent crimes are committed not by strangers, but by relatives or acquaintances. Victim precipitation theory looks at how a victim's actions or characteristics may contribute directly or indirectly to the events leading to a crime. Active precipitation involves victims behaving in aggressive or provocative ways that may trigger the offender's reaction. Passive precipitation is more subtle, where a person's traits or social position make them a more likely target or unintentionally create conflict that offenders respond to. The key point is understanding patterns, not blaming victims. Lifestyle theories explain victimization by focusing on the daily activities and behaviors that put people in risky situations. High risk lifestyles like frequenting bars, staying out late, or associating with risky peers raise the chances of encountering offenders. College life can also increase risk because of parties, alcohol, and large social gatherings. People involved in criminal lifestyles face even higher victimization rates because they interact more often with other offenders. Deviant place theory adds that simply spending time in a high crime area increases risk regardless of personal behavior, and in some communities, honor codes can escalate conflict and violence. Routine activities theory says crime happens when three things come together at the same time: a suitable target, a motivated offender, and the absence of a capable guardian. Our everyday routines, where we go, who we interact with, and how much supervision is around, shape how often these conditions line up. Research consistently supports this idea, showing that lifestyle patterns directly influence victimization risk. Victim service programs exist to support people after a crime and help them navigate the justice system. These services include assistance for victims and witnesses, financial compensation, and support from trained advocates. Victims can provide impact statements, access crisis intervention, and receive education about their rights. Programs like Victim Offender Reconciliation offer restorative options, while notification systems and legal protections help keep victims informed and safe. Victims' rights laws ensure that people harmed by crime have a voice and are treated with fairness throughout the justice process. These rights include being notified about case updates, attending court hearings, and providing a statement of sentencing. Victims can seek restitution, be consulted before major case decisions like dismissals or plea deals, and expect a timely trial. They're also protected by confidentiality rules to help safeguard their personal information. Victim advocates play an important role in protecting victims, working with the media to ensure accurate reporting and safeguarding victims' privacy. On the other hand, self protection refers to actions victims may take during an incident, such as fighting back or, in some cases, using firearms. These responses highlight both the support victims need and the difficult choices they may face in threatening situations. In this chapter, we've explored the field of victimology, why victimization happens, who is most at risk, and how lifestyle, routine activities, and environmental factors shape victim experiences. We looked at the personal, economic, and social cost of victimization, as well as theories that help explain victim-offender interactions. And finally, we reviewed victims' rights and the range of services available to support them throughout the justice process.